through a depressive episode for almost 3 years afterwards, and it kind of ruined my acting.
When Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul was released in 2017, it brought a significant change to the franchise, one that fans were not prepared for. Not only did the movie switch up the plot and focus, but it also replaced the entire cast from the original trilogy, which had previously featured a set of beloved actors, most notably Devon Bostick as Rodrick Heffley. The recasting of Rodrick Heffley sparked outrage and led to harsh criticism of Charlie Wright, who was selected to portray the character in the fourth film. The backlash was so intense that it significantly affected Wright's personal and professional life, leaving scars that lasted for years. The legacy of Devon Bostick as Rodrick. Before discussing the challenges Charlie Wright faced, it's important to understand the role that Devon Bostick played in establishing Rodrick Heffley as one of the most iconic characters in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. Bostick's portrayal of Greg Heffley's older brother was widely praised for its perfect blend of rebellious charm and cluelessness, making Rodrick not just the typical older sibling, but a beloved character in his own right. Rodrick's character resonated with fans because he was relatable in many ways. He was the typical bad boy older brother, but also surprisingly endearing. His character struck the perfect balance between being a figure of annoyance and a source of comic relief. And Bostick's portrayal turned him into an unforgettable part of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid legacy. His performance was often ranked at the top in Diary of a Wimpy Kid character polls, and many fans credited the Devon Bostick effect for making Rodrick such a fan favorite. The recasting of Rodrick in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul. By the time Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul came around, Bostick had aged out of the role. When the first Wimpy Kid movie was filmed in 2010, Bostick was only 19 years old, and by 2017, he would have been 26, which made it unrealistic for him to continue playing the teenage Rodrick. The franchise's creator, Jeff Kinney, had previously pointed out that the Wimpy Kid films followed a pre-adolescent Greg, unlike Harry Potter, where the characters aged along with the actors. This age disparity was a big reason why the movie had to recast the entire cast for The Long Haul. However, the recasting came as a huge surprise to fans when the first trailer for the movie dropped. The internet reacted in anger, confusion, and disappointment. Fans had grown attached to the original cast, especially Bostick's Rodrick, and the idea of a new Rodrick felt like a betrayal. The filmmakers did not warn the audience, leaving many fans heartbroken and questioning the new direction. Charlie Wright's casting and the backlash. Charlie Wright, who was selected to take on the role of Rodrick in The Long Haul, faced an incredibly difficult challenge. Wright was relatively unknown in the acting world, with the film being only his fourth acting role. Unfortunately for Wright, the internet had very high expectations for Rodrick's character, and when they saw him in the trailer, the response was brutal. The backlash began almost immediately. Wright's appearance was heavily criticized, with fans mocking his physical features and comparing him to various characters and celebrities, including the Joker, Michael Jackson, Lord Farquaad from Shrek, and even Edna from The Incredibles. It wasn't just his appearance that was targeted, but also his portrayal of Rodrick. Wright's performance was often called flat, with critics pointing out that he lacked the depth, charm, and relatable qualities that Bostick had brought to the role. The new Rodrick was seen as a far cry from the character fans had loved in the original films. The criticism didn't stop there. Social media exploded with memes and posts under the hashtag #NotMyRodrick, with people photoshopping Bostick's face onto Wright's body or making jokes about how much of a downgrade the new Rodrick was. The hashtag quickly went viral, with hundreds of thousands of posts mocking the film and its recast characters. At one point, Wright's own Wikipedia page was edited to include harsh insults, calling him greasy and a cheap knockoff of Bostick. The impact on Charlie Wright's mental health. The extreme backlash had a profound impact on Charlie Wright's mental health and career. In interviews after the film's release, Wright revealed that the criticism took a toll on him in ways that he didn't expect. The actor admitted that the intense hate campaign led to a deep depression that lasted for nearly 3 years. Wright explained that he felt like he couldn't escape the negativity, and every time he left his house, he felt like people were judging him or laughing at him for being the new Rodrick. The online abuse was particularly brutal, with some people going so far as to send death threats. Wright opened up about how disturbing it was to have people wishing death upon him simply for portraying a fictional character. The hate wasn't just confined to social media. It also affected his career. Wright revealed that the studio had planned sequels for The Long Haul, but due to the movie's disastrous reception, those sequels were ultimately cancelled. This meant that Wright lost out on potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in earnings. Wright struggled with the idea that he was being blamed for something that was not his fault. He did not choose the haircut or the character's new direction; those decisions were made by the production team. Despite all the hate, Wright maintained that he loved his experience making the film and that it was one of the best acting opportunities he had ever received. However, the constant barrage of negativity led him to retire from acting altogether. He admitted that acting was never his true passion, but the experience of being relentlessly attacked made it clear that he did not want to continue in the industry. The movie's reception and box office failure, despite the backlash against Wright's portrayal of Rodrick. The filmmakers tried to remain optimistic. Director Jeff Kinney believed that over time, audiences would come around to the new cast and that The Long Haul would eventually be appreciated for what it was. However, that did not happen. The film, which had a production budget of $22 million, opened to a dismal $7.1 million at the box office. It received harsh reviews from critics, who slammed the movie's script, acting, and overall quality. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film garnered an abysmal 19%, and IMDb ratings were equally poor, with viewers rating it a mere 4.3 out of 10. Critics weren't the only ones who panned the movie; fans were equally disappointed. One reviewer described the movie as unwatchable and claimed it felt longer than The Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring Extended Edition. The movie's failures were particularly painful for the new cast, including Wright, who had hoped for a different outcome. The internet's apology and Charlie Wright's comeback. Over time, as the internet continued to criticize The Long Haul, many fans began to recognize that their harsh treatment of Charlie Wright was unfair. They realized that Wright was simply an actor doing his job, and that the recasting and creative decisions were out of his control. This led to a shift in the narrative, with some fans publicly apologizing for their cruelty. In a surprising turn of events, Wright returned to the public eye 7 years after the film's release with a YouTube video titled "Life Is Not My Rodrick," where he discussed the impact the role had on his life. In the video, he revealed that he had never regretted doing the movie, despite the hardships it caused. He spoke about the toll it took on his mental health and how the experience had led him to reconsider his career choices. Yet, despite everything, Wright maintained that he felt lucky to have been a part of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid franchise, a lesson in empathy and understanding. The story of Charlie Wright and Diary of a Wimpy Kid. The Long Haul serves as a powerful reminder of the consequences of internet trolling and online harassment. Wright did not deserve the intense backlash he received, and the criticism he endured was not just harmful to his career but to his personal well-being as well. While it is easy to forget that actors are real people with emotions and lives outside of their on-screen roles, Wright's story serves as a wake-up call for the internet community. As we look back on The Long Haul, it's important to remember that movies, like any form of art, are subjective. Not every film will resonate with every audience, and sometimes, recasting a character may not go over well with longtime fans. However, it's vital to remember that actors are not responsible for these decisions; they are merely doing their job. In Charlie Wright's case, the hate he received was entirely unwarranted, and the internet owes him an apology. In the end, Wright has shown incredible resilience in the face of such adversity. While The Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie may have hurt his career, he has emerged stronger and more self-aware. His positive attitude and ability to forgive those who criticized him serve as a testament to his strength of character. To this day, Charlie Wright's portrayal of Rodrick remains controversial, but it's clear that he deserves recognition for his professionalism and the hard work he put into the role, even if the movie didn't turn out as expected. As fans continue to reflect on the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, they should remember that kindness and empathy should always come first.